In this video, find out why the PlayStation 5 Dualsense is the only platform of controller I actually don't recommend you remove the rumble, force, or vibration motors from. I know, blasphemy, right? I also don't recommend that you opt for mechanical, tactile, mouse-like clicky triggers. If you plan on using this controller on your PlayStation 5. Let's get it. This is your controller captain. We've reached 6,900 feet. Go ahead and start flicking the sticks and mollywopping the back paddles. You don't like back paddles? How about those rear buttons? We've tested almost 100 custom and premium controllers, and we're only at the beginning. You need a thumbstick guide or tutorial on how to overclock your controller? Check out the controller playlist. Bing bong. Controller captain out. So when you're building a custom controller online, whether it's with Hex, AIM, Mega Mods, etc., you have a lot of customization inside of the builder with both cosmetic appearance modification as well as performance modifications. And one of them is to remove the rumble force motors, which is generally a free or very cheap upgrade. And this simply removes the vibration motors from the palms of the controller, as well as these smaller vibration motors in the triggers, which has been in the Xbox One and Series controllers. Now in the past, with platforms like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I have recommended that you remove those rumble force motors, as like I mentioned, it is usually free or very cheap. Makes the controller substantially lighter. In some scenarios, about a quarter of the controller weight is those rumble force motors, and also gives the controller substantially better battery life, as it's not powering the vibration motors. Getting the bluff or bottom line up front right out of the way, if you are somebody that uses your PS5 controllers on your PlayStation 5, you don't strictly use them on PC, and you're playing PlayStation 5 games on your PS5, you're not just digging into your PS4 library, then you're going to be playing a lot of SIE or Sony Interactive Entertainment first-party exclusive games that make full utilization out of two of the most important features of the DualSense controller, that being the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. Now, if you're exclusively going to be using this PS5 DualSense controller on your PC, whether it's via Bluetooth or wired with USB-C connection, or you're playing exclusively PlayStation 4 games on your PS5, which had no support for adaptive triggers and haptic feedback because the PS4 didn't have those features, then by all means remove the haptic feedback or rumble force motors, as it'll be labeled on websites, and opt for mechanical mouse-like digital tactile triggers. But if you are going to be playing first-party Sony games, whether those are first-person shooters or third-person action adventures such as Horizon Forbidden West, these games are all programmed to make full use out of the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. And in a lot of these games, such as Returnal and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, they are actual functional modes, such as pulling the trigger down until you feel resistance at the halfway point, and that is a secondary fire mode, such as using the haptic feedback to pinpoint enemy locations. And in a lot of these games, you simply cannot turn these functions for the adaptive triggers or haptic feedback off and then substitute them for another keybind, meaning that if you have a premium, pro, or custom controller that has mechanical mouse-like triggers and does not have the haptic vibration motors, you are greatly limiting the games that you are able to play with that controller. But again, if you're exclusively playing Apex Legends or Warzone on PC and you plan on overclocking your DualSense controller to under 1 millisecond of input delay, which I do have a tutorial on how to do that linked in the description below, then by all means, click off the video, remove the haptic feedback, save some battery life, save some weight, and install mechanical triggers to keep you the most competitive in first-person shooters. So the DualSense controller actually doesn't have rumble force motors. It has haptic feedback, which is a more advanced form or technology of vibration. We've seen haptic feedback in things like cell phones, even the Nintendo JoyCons have haptic feedback. However, it's a lot more advanced than the DualSense controller, and this is used in virtually every single first-party Sony Interactive Entertainment game, not to mention a lot of third-party titles as well, such as Call of Duty. Now, if you don't like the vibration or the adaptive trigger effects, because sometimes it is actually kind of hard to squeeze physically, the triggers, you can turn those off in the settings of most games. But you do not want to fully remove those features from the controller, because there are other games like Returnal and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart that you cannot change the functionality of the adaptive triggers, and it will actually limit your playability of the game. Quick caveat, they might have added patches or updates to add these features in the settings menus of these games, but when they launched and I originally played them, they didn't have these features, and I know a lot of games for the PlayStation 5 do not have settings to turn off the adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. Now, a very valid argument is the fact that you most likely have a factory standard OEM stock controller to play things like racing games and platformers, and then you're going to have this premium or custom controller. And while that is true, if you're spending $150 to $350 or more on a premium flagship controller, you're most likely going to want to be able to play that in virtually every game in every scenario on your PlayStation 5, on your PC, and you don't want to be limited in what games you can play. That's why I like DualSense controllers that have removable paddles, such as the AIM controller. Actually, I think AIM is the only one I've tested currently that does have removable paddles. However, a lot of them them do have deactivatable, you can turn off the rear buttons. They're always going to be installed. You can accidentally click them, but they're not going to be activating any of the face buttons or D-pad because they are not bound to anything. But I prefer aim because, again, you can remove 2, 4, 3, all of the paddles, play games such as racing games and platformers that you don't need paddles for, which is sick. However, if you are in a situation where maybe you have multiple Premium or Pro controllers, then it would make sense for a few of those to be mechanical mouse-like triggers with the rumbles removed. But for me, my primary Premium or Pro controllers that I plan on using on my PlayStation 5, playing first-party PS5 titles with, I do not remove the haptic feedback, and I do not remove the adaptive triggers, because those are 2 of the 3 most important features of the DualSense controller that make it unique from virtually any other gamepad or chunk of plastic we've seen. The third, in case you're wondering, is the built-in microphone. At the end of the day, this is all personal preference and comes down to what you want for your controller, what types of games you're playing on, what platforms, console, PC, etc. But like I mentioned, if you're playing PS5 games on your PS5, especially first-party Sony games, you do not want to hamper with 2 of the most important features of the DualSense controller. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as honest gaming product reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. There are some hefty exclusive discount codes found only in the description of my videos and only for the audience here at Gamer Heaven. Check out Into the AM for some of the sickest looking and most comfortable cloth to ever grace my gaming giblets. If you don't want to be scorching your corneas with harmful blue light, check out Gamer Advantage, the only blue light glasses on the market that look sexy and actually work. If you're looking for a custom controller that'll blow the competition's tits back, AIM definitively has the best bang for buck or price to performance when it comes to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch controllers. Nope, they don't do Switch, but they do gaming mice. I said doo-doo. I have links to all my other platforms and socials in the description below. If you need a quick laugh or blast of gamer adrenaline, check my short form videos out at TikTok. To get in touch with myself and the Stallions and Stallionettes of Gamer Heaven, join the community Discord, and check me out at twitch.tv where I go live every other leap year on a blue moon if it falls into an odd calendar number and my pH balance is on point. Just kidding, starting June I'm going to be live streaming a lot. Thanks for watching. This has been AK40 Kevin hosting Gamer Heaven, and I'll see you tomorrow because I upload daily, all the time, 60% of the time, sometimes, most of the time. Peace.